pretty decent draw for the 64 for Jason, but as you know, as these events go on, it gets tougher and tougher. And if he beats Von Lerup, he's up against the winner of Copigny and Fedor Gorst. So everything
Whoa,
from
a
here is
Federer
going to be
versus
tough.
Jason matchup. How epic could that be? Is that true? Is that what we could get?
We could get that.
We could
Oh
get
We
that.
could get
God.
that in the
Oh God. I
quarterfinals.
didn't even know that. How
That would
how
be
sweet would that
that would
be?
be Tilt City.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
that
How
would
many
be
Matchroom
worth at
times?
is
least two.
salivating.
That would be worth at least two dogging it shows leading up to it.
I'm
But
getting up at 3 a.m. to watch that if that's the case. For
how many
sure. I'm
times
getting
have
up.
we prepped we looked ahead of a matchup like that and it
Oh,
never
never happens.
materialized?
Yeah,
Never.
It never
And
yeah.
happens.
never happened.
Von Lerup's gonna blow out Jason Shaw like 10-2.
Well, we talked
And
about Van Leeuwen. He's played pretty well this year. I saw him play in Michigan. He had a really good tournament there at the Predator event there. So he's obviously been playing fairly well. I don't know if anybody saw any of the Sky match, but took him apart pretty handily, and then
I
beat
did not.
Fu, who's another veteran player
Fool ain't
from
fooling
Taiwan.
around.
So
That's for sure. You know.
yeah.
Uh, uh, I'm saving my best stuff, Mike.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Write your stuff, but you're overpaying them.
No, no kidding. Big win for Van Leeuwen for sure. Kind of a bit of a letdown if you're a fan of Sky, because when I had someone ask me last night, who do you like in the last longer?
Yeah,
Just looking through brackets, I said, well, I kind of have to like Sky's matchup because I would have liked him against. It would have been closer against Wei, I feel like, than Van Leeuwen, but I really liked Sky in that matchup. Kind
yeah,
of a reverse scoreline from what you see on there. Big win for the Dutchman, following that up with an even bigger win in the round of 32. He's got opportunity here. Obviously, he's not in any kind of Mosconi Cup contention, but all it takes is a couple of good runs in an event, and all of a sudden we're talking about you like you're Mark Bisterbosch,
Yeah,
So, um, that's all it
another
takes, man.
another Dutchman.
yeah, big
Another
event
Dutchman.
for him. A couple big wins there. But this matchup right here is one that could be a nice resume builder there for future years Mosconi
Right,
consideration.
right.
Let's keep on cruising along, boys. In the next round, pretty big one. I mean, you want to talk about
Tilt,
area that's just
full
stacked.
tilt.
Kopinyi takes down Imran Majid, the guy who's just always around in 10-6. Dodong takes apart Gerson from Peru 10-4. Big matchup between Ko, really box office, but kind of a bit anticlimactic 10-4 win for Kopinyi to get through the round of 16.
This is
Yeah,
a pretty tough group of eight right here.
this was a solid group of
Yeah,
eight.
you talk about Jason maybe getting a little bit of a soft draw, but here there's not a whole lot of softness here. And Copigny and Fedor Gors, probably the two favorites from the eight, make it through, uh, but they were tested in doing so. A little surprised at the score line with Copigny and Aranas. I thought that might be a little bit closer, but Copigny must be playing really well. And this is fireworks here with this showdown with Fedor Gorst.
Yeah, yeah. This is a big,
Who do you guys like in
marquee
this one?
matchup.
I mean, Federer's gonna have to be the favorite going
Yeah,
into it, and well, let's say for the round of 16 talk. How about that, boys?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But big early round or early this morning wins for Federer. I woke up to it being 8-8 with Quo, really seasoned Taiwanese player. Bit of a trap game. Federer, dodged that bullet, comes out with the win, comfortable win in the round of 32 as well. It does set up the blockbuster. That's going to get even juicier as this tournament progresses. But I feel like out of the class of here, the only other one that you really would have expected would have been Dodong coming out.
Yeah.
But it's no surprise because Kopinyi, we know the kind of run that he could have, like in his engine. So we'll see what happens. But pretty solid round of 16 that we're coming up with, boys.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Moving along, we got Bernie taking down who is it? Rhoda 10-8. Oh, sorry, Luong 10-8. Levan beating Roland Garcia 10-6. Levan, man, that guy, he's the one that is super dangerous from the Filipinos. I mean,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, they all are, but Levan has a real high killer instinct. It seems like when it's time for a major and when he starts just kind of getting a little bit of momentum, he's that guy you can see going into the finals, like we saw a couple of years ago against Josh at Derby City. Right, goes into that final a bit of an underdog and then just demolishes Filler. we know what he can do. Big win for Lee Van. I can't wait to see what he does against David.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna be a
these
great matchup.
David and Lee Van, when I was looking at this bracket, they kind of remind me of the same person. They're both awesome professionals. They both get the job done. They're just steady and consistent. And I kind of like view them as very similar, just from different parts of the world, right? Nobody really wants to play them at this stage of a tournament because they're definitely both capable of winning. They both have that killer instinct. That's going to be a great matchup in the round of 16. I want to look down at the matchup with Shane Wolford and Moritz Newhausen, and Shane gets that win 10-5. And much like you said about Sky's match, I probably would have gone the other way in
Yep.
predicting that and thinking that Moritz would have kind of slid by Shane there pretty handily, especially with Shane's pretty recent form. You know, even self admitting that he was in a slump, but he seems to have broken out of that slump, and that's a big win for him right there. Of course, David takes him down 10-2 in the second round, but I'm happy to see Shane make the final 32 of this event. You know, we know he traveled a long way. He's in points contention. He's one of those USA players affected by the Federgorst decision. So I think this was a good showing for him. And if I know we're planning on doing a stock up, stock down show. I say stock up for Shane Wolford at this point.
Yeah, it's good. You know, it's a statement win for him beating Moritz because Moritz has really been kind of one of the flavors of the day for the past month or so, right? So everybody really high on him, and he had Mosconi Cup shots. You know, he was right in that conversation. If he, you know, has a deep run here, he could have stole that third spot. Um, you know, and we'll get to it as we go through the rest of this list. But you know, all those guys on that list who had a shot for Team Europe took a dive real early.
Took a dive is the right
Really
is the right
surprising. It
phrase,
was
man.
really surprising. So,
Yep.
um, but happy to see Shane must have played well to get through that match. I don't know if it was a letdown match against David or David just was on point, but you know, still a pretty good statement for Shane. I think he did lock up the what would have been the fourth spot. You know, what would have been the third spot, and is now the fourth point spot. So is that good enough to make him a can't turn down pick for Jeremy? What do you
I
think?
think it
Well,
definitely helps his status. Uh, he's in a lot better position after this event than before this event, in my opinion.